Granddad Gerald slammed his palm into the Christmas table. The sound snapped the room shut. Glasses trembled. Someone's laugh strangled off. I froze with a forkful of turkey halfway to my mouth, wrist locked, as if the air had turned solid. He didn't look at the food. He looked over the centerpiece at my father. Why is a stranger running the cold storage and logistics company in Texas I bought and put in Elena's name 4 years ago? My heartbeat climbed my throat. I lowered the fork slowly, letting shock bloom on my face. Granddad, what are you talking about? I kept my voice small. I don't even have a savings account. How could I own a company? Mom's smile went too bright, too fast. Dad tightened around the carving knife. My brother Miles stopped chewing, eyes darting anywhere but Granddad. Sophie's fingers worried her napkin into a rope. Granddad leaned forward, elbows on the table, travel creases still sharp in his suit. A few weeks ago, Jonah Haskell called me by mistake. He thought I was still overseeing things. Gerald's gaze pinned the room. He congratulated me on the new owner, said the warehouses are expanding and the routes are multiplying under a man named Caleb Hart. Caleb Hart, I echoed, soft as prayer, the name foreign in my mouth. I've never heard it. No one reached for their glass. No one breathed loud. The tree lights blinked in the corner, cheerful and wrong, casting color over faces that had gone pale. Then a knock hit the front door. 3 crisp raps, official in a way carolers never are. Granddad didn't move. That'll be for us, he said. The front door opened on 2 uniformed officers and a woman in a charcoal coat carrying a hard briefcase. The officers waited, faces blank. Maris Pruitt, Granddad Gerald said. My attorney. Mom pushed back from the table. Gerald, don't do this. Maris set the case down. The latches snapped. Folders appeared. She slid one toward me. Elena, you haven't authorized anyone to sell or transfer that Texas company, correct? I shook my head. No, Dad tried for calm. It's Christmas. We can talk later. Later is how this happened, Granddad said. Maris turned a page. State filings. Caleb Hart listed as primary owner. Another page. A power of attorney form with my name at the bottom, my signature copied just enough. Miles leaned in, face heating. That's hers. Maris placed 2 enlargements beside each other, my lease signature and the one on the form. Same letters, she said, different hand. She pointed to a faint yellow pattern in the margin. Printer microdots date this sheet months after the day it claims. Dad gripped his chair. Mom stared at the paper like it might bite. Maris slid out one more packet. Email headers and screenshots. Anonymous notes to recruiters right after my interviews, calling me unreliable. Disposable accounts, she said, but the originating IP belongs to this address. Miles snapped his gaze toward Mom. You told me it was for her own good. It was, Mom whispered, voice cracking. I was scared. The table erupted. Excuses, accusations, everyone clawing for a version that didn't make them the villain. I stayed still, letting the noise tell the truth. Granddad raised his hand. Silence dropped. I didn't bring them here to argue, he said. I brought them here to end it. Maris opened the last folder and turned it toward Miles. Signature analysis, she said. The pressure breaks and pen lifts match his bank card, not Elena's. Miles blinked hard. Dad's chair scraped. Mom gripped her water glass. Granddad Gerald didn't raise his voice. And the money? Granddad tapped another page, his new will notarized, my name alone. I reported the fraud weeks ago, he said. Tonight it becomes real for everyone. Maris set statements in the center. Wires one after another into a joint account with my parents' names. The memo line read, asset purchase payment. All those months stretching groceries, all those interviews that went nowhere, this was why. Dad swallowed. We were drowning, he said. The loans, the suppliers. You sold my future, I said, and you sabotaged my chances to build another one. Mom's face crumpled. I was trying to keep you safe. Safe means informed, I said, not trapped. Miles exhaled. Sophie knew a buyer, he admitted, eyes fixed on the table. Caleb Hart, fast deal. I signed what they put in front of me. We needed cash before the bank took the house. Sophie whispered, I only made an introduction. But no one answered. One officer stepped forward. Miles Archer? Papers slid across the table. You're served. Interview required for suspected document fraud. When the door shut, the house felt smaller. Granddad gathered the folders and rested a hand on my shoulder, brief, steady. I looked at my family's bowed heads and felt the last of my pretending fall away. I'm done covering for you, I said. I'm choosing me.